Hello guys, today we're gonna be talking about Japan and the updates on Tokyo Olympics especially. And this has been quite a controversial week, I think, in which Japan has already signed with Pfizer, I think, to purchase a lot of vaccine, I think. And I think the Prime Minister Suga also said that he wished that Japan can have one day 1 million shot of vaccine, which is quite nuts. But we'll see in a more and especially currently that I heard that Japan have a lot of vaccine which is piling up and not being used. I think due to the slow rollout and uh, and the reason why they are doing the vax they need 1 million vaccine a day just for the Olympics. Of course, they want Olympics to go on. But then on to another news which says that recently a lawyer, I think Kenji name, a 79-year-old lawyer Kenji, has made a petition which has been signed by 230,000 or more, I think, Japanese people, I think, to say that they should cancel the Tokyo Olympic this year due to the scary virus situation that's happening around Japan, and especially as time nears by for Tokyo Olympic. In less than 3 months, it will be held. And after putting up the petition just for 2 days, 230,000 people have been signing up for this petition, telling the government to stop to cancel the Olympic this year. And I do get why the reason why, because especially with such a dangerous case of COVID, and also the situation on few other countries like India and Nepal are getting worse and worse each day. You could see why the people are really concerned as to the Olympic being held this year, especially. So hopefully, for me, well, in my stand, I do feel that this year it shall not be hold. I think it should be hold when Japan has zero COVID cases. That's the best way of letting the Olympic go on, and also bringing students and business workers in as soon as possible. If you Because in this current situation, those people who are being held at their own respective country wanting to go to Japan are suffering, especially due to them not being able to go. But I do understand why the government also wanted to move on with the Olympic, but even their own people saying not they don't want to go on with the Olympic, especially. And this has been quite a real debate actually. Should we let Olympic goes on or not? Especially with how the government has handled the situation. And moreover, the real thing right now is that Japan has extended their state of emergency to 31st of May, which seems like long. And it has been going on, the state of emergency has been going on for, I think, April, I think, start in April and move on to May, around 2 months already, I think. Around that, it will, around that 2 months, I think. And personally, it's just a waste of time. I think it's better for them to just try to reduce it to zero, vaccinate everyone. And of course, recently there has been news that they want to build a mass center for vaccination of COVID, and also they are nearing in approval for AstraZeneca and Moderna vaccine, I think, which is quite a build up, and hopefully it would get approved, and hopefully one day there will be 1 million people getting vaccinated in Japan, which I would say nuts. But maybe if it's possible, why not try it? And then what's more is that currently they also have been imposing a no-fly zone, so in which planes cannot go through the area in Japan, in some other, in the games especially. So like when they play the games, Olympic and Paralympic, especially the games, the sky should not have any planes. It should be a no-fly zone, so no plane should cross in the in the games stadium or games venue. It will be happening 2 hours before the games and 1 hour after the game. So after those time, it will the zone will be open up and planes can fly through it again. And it also says that it has extended the no-fly zone to 46 kilometer from 3 kilometer. I heard, but then the serious concern is that it will take longer to fly into Tokyo, Haneda, and to Sapporo, and to a lot other places. So Olympic would be held in many different places, which means that flying there will take longer. That's the one negative impact of it. But now going back to current situation, with the number of people signing up petitions of saying no to Olympic is increasing, with the government still be forcing themselves to hold the Olympic, or will they listen to the people and maybe postpone it? Well, I have been saying these things for quite a long time that postponing Olympic is the best way possible for economic reason, for health reason, for safety reason, and every other reason. I would say postponing it will be the best things to do. Of course, money will be lost, but it will gain a lot more than just money if you postpone it. And it's just something that they also want to create a bubble between the Japanese country, the whole Japan, and Japanese people with the Olympic athletes and Olympic area, which I think is just a pure nonsense. I mean, it's just how I would say, games should be Olympic games should be something it's fun in which people would gather around, be happy, and then athletes would also explore Japan, meet with other famous people in Japan, or maybe just go visit a beautiful Japan. Like there's a lot of things that you can do to hockey, especially, which currently is not really popular. Right? I think it's going to get popular the hockey area, but the important facts that Japanese people don't really want see this Olympic as a benefit for them, and especially with such a longer state of emergency, and then a lot of people also outside of the country who is student, like who has visa, who has COEs but don't have visas and wanting to go there, but the visas is taking so long, and some of them who cannot go even though it's already open up a little but still cannot go. It's they're screaming, actually they're screaming to go in. That's why when I think about it, is it worth, like if you do it maybe around next year, you can set up a beautiful plan, a great plan for everything to be settled 100%. But then if you're doing it this year, forcing it through, you would see a lot of people screaming, crying, telling that they need help and all of that nonsense. But don't, and then there's also World Cup 2022, I heard. I think in like soccer, I think. But then of course it will get highly tightened, it will get postponed. But if it everything right now, it seems like it should get postponed for Olympics. It wasn't right actually, especially when Japan, they do say that they are testing 50% of people going to the stadium to watch, and then if it wasn't possible, then they would do it 0%. And they already test some of the event. They say the okay, but what's the okay to be honest? It's not really okay for me when I saw it. It's the suffering for people is much greater than what Olympics held like now. And especially with this situation, economy will be more difficult to be safe than ever, especially when and businesses. It's easier when you do it like if you do it this year, what's the purpose? Like not a lot of people can come to Japan, especially students are still getting blocked, some of them because of COVID situation, so they are being held behind, and this problem will persist and will get it will increase slowly, and the problem will be too big that they will have to let most of them in at the same time, which causes mass panic and COVID situation getting worse and worse. But when you see that if the Olympic are getting postponed, which means that when this year if we can make it to zero, why not? Like businesses can still be affected, but we can use the Olympic as something that can be, I would say, as a medium to improve the businesses when next year. No, and I mean this year, like this year, you can see athletes cannot go into the Japan so easy as easily you can see. It's quite worrying to be honest. Like it's, businesses will still suffer as even worse if they held this year. And but if they do it next year, this year they can do a lot of testing. They can let people in so that at least there's some like a lot of people that are getting held at outside Japan can at least go in first before they like before they say they let people in slowly, like maybe have batch by batch like that, and then each month batch by batch, and then slowly they will let people in. But then the best thing is that the people that are getting help will not suffer anymore, and the businesses will slowly gain its momentum again once it reaches zero, which means when COVID cases is zero, which means it's difficult for you to get COVID, and people are less reluctant to go out actually, and which gives a lot of benefit, especially to the businesses, as they will say that they are as long people will go out and eat again and drink and chat with the business owner, and this is the positive of postponing the Olympic, especially some people a lot of people will come in, especially students and tourists will not come in, but the students, the workers, the spouse or someone who has visas can come in and just live there, and then once they comes in they could just close the border for a while, and then they will open close like that. And then like until April, like you can see that April is the season where a lot of students will apply and go in. And when they go in, which means they would open it, then they let students going in, and then they once all students comes in, all the workers comes in, they would close it, which means that they will vacuum the country for 3 months, and then they will isolate. I mean not vacuum, but when that happens, they would also be preparing for Olympics. And when COVID cases reach zero, and after taking all of the students, workers like that, and they reach zero, the best thing is that people will be more willing to go and watch the Olympics now, and businesses will prosper more as athletes, which will be tested and will get. If they get the negative, they can go out and meet a lot of Japanese, and they would go to the restaurants, and then restaurants will be more popular, and then it will get, or maybe any businesses, and it will get popular, and businesses will prosper again, and economy will work again even better than right now. And that's the a lot of benefits of postponing the Olympic, you know. And then especially when the most people are already vaccinated, I mean the prime minister want to make 1 million shot a day, which is for now I would say it's difficult because they only let the older people. But once they get through the we get to a younger generation, I would say younger people, 20, 30, 10, 20, 30, 40, I would say that 1 million shot a day would be possible. But when the older people would be, I would say even 10K would be difficult because older people have older mind, which means that vaccine isn't really something that's like beauty on their ear or anything. There's a lot of people that are welcome. There are older people who thinks that vaccine is something that's not really okay for them, and that's what the challenge is. For younger people at 10, 20, 30, they are smart. They are already know all knowing, so of course they would go and just take the vaccine, so it's easier. But for older people, the people who are quite reluctant to take the vaccine, you, instead of forcing them, you have to convince them, saying that this thing is not something that's dangerous, it should be fine. That's the moral. But the biggest thing that I would have to highlight is that doing it this year is something like a gamble, and it will strangle a lot of things business wise. Students who wants to come to Japan to study but cannot, and then workers who wants to work at there but cannot, and then people who maybe have plans of moving there but cannot. There's a lot of more people who wants to move there and just live, study, work, and all of that, but they cannot, and that's the biggest issue, I would say. And that issue should be our number, I would say, number one priority actually, because it's quite unfair to be honest. Like, you could say like in the number of COVID right now is perfect for them to let all the students, workers, and all the ones who stuck in outside of Japan to let them in, so that when the border closed, they will be aiming for zero COVID cases. That's the thing. What we don't want to see is a spread of COVID, and then Japan become like the next India, which in which the health system will collapse and everything will collapse. That's what we don't want to see. What we want to see is something like Australia. You would see that they have zero COVID cases. Masks can be open. People can talk anywhere they want. They can touch anything they want, even though there's COVID. But there are still some restriction. But at least you could see that they are all happy. And if they were holding Olympics there, you would see that they are fine with it. But in Japan, you would see that because of the number of COVID cases, holding Olympic this year for me, like, it's just not right. It shouldn't be actually. It should be next year. Even if a lot of people have already got vaccinated, it's not something that's right yet. What we are aiming for is zero COVID cases, and also we don't want to make people who is currently residing outside of Japan, who wants to come into Japan to live, to work, to study, and to do more stuff, to just stuck in their own respective country studying online like that. It's not something ideal, I would say. And 100 cases, 50 cases, or even one cases, I would say, it's still not right. You have to have zero cases. That's the best. Zero cases. This is not influenza, this is COVID. COVID is different from influenza, I would say. And to get zero cases, which means that you have to have mass testing, and then mass testing, let people in, close the border, then that's the best. I would say if they would open it on June, and then let a lot of people comes in, and then until July, around July, maybe starting this month, letting people in from last year to April, and then until July, July or October they'll close it. Maybe in October they will close it for a while, and they will do mass testing for all of these people who are just coming in, and then all those Japanese people who are in a highly affected area in Osaka, Kyoto, Tokyo, and in everywhere. They will do the testings. Of course, it will take some time, but it's something that is efficient, and contact tracing for now in Japan is not really useful anymore from my perspective, especially with the thousands of people getting infected. And contact tracing, the best thing about it is that only tell you the location, and it is the best way to know, like, if there's a cluster of COVID, and then they will just close it up and then isolate it for a while, and then once they get it reach zero again, they will open it again. That's the best thing about it, and this is what Singapore have done. Once one place or one cluster or one zone has been getting COVID, like 10, 20, then they will isolate, they will close it up, they will find people who are connected in this zone, who have ever comes in and comes out and have ever been contact, and they would just do it precisely, accurately, and then that's why they have been being really good at COVID cases, to reducing COVID cases to zero, especially, and letting people who are suffering, who are staying outside of the Singapore, to comes in and just live there. And that's what Japan should do. Reduce the number to zero. Don't, not by faking the number, not by but by mass testing, and then by vaccine number two, and then vaccinate the people who are also outside of the country, because who knows, they don't really have the right vaccine to for Japan. And then also mass testing, get vaccine, delay Tokyo Olympic to next year, and you'll see and then the major improvement we will see will be in next year, not this year. For economy, for business, maybe next year, but this year the major improvement would be the people who are stuck outside of Japan, students who are stuck outside of Japan, international students, local students, and then also locals people and international people who are stuck outside of Japan, who wants to come, live, work, study Japan in Japan. You'd see that they not we would see less of them, and we want that to happen. We want to see less and less people to be stuck out of Japan. We want to see more people inside of Japan, so that the Olympic can be more fun, more. And the reason why COVID cases is zero is the best ideal number, is that people will be less reluctant. They will be more happy to go out and watch and make the business and economy prosper again. And that's one of the reasons why I would say Tokyo Olympic is a major economic and business advantage that they should have. But if they hold it this year, it will be a major disadvantage for them next year and the year after. As people who should be coming here, students, workers, people who live there and want to watch and they cannot watch. That's the thing. Once zero cases, you could see that they could come and watch and shout anytime and be happy. And that's the thing that I want to pursue, is that postponing it, canceling it might be bad, because economic wise it will be a major impact, but personally it will impact on business, economic, and health. For this year it will be health. If we postpone it to next year, then this year it will be health. Next year major improvement will be in business and in economic. That's the thing that I want to talk about. And then what else? There's nothing more, I think, for now. Hopefully we would get more info, and hopefully I would wish that it will get postponed, so that Japan will prosper as it is, and it will take hold at the real advantage of having Tokyo Olympic. You might spend billions just for maintaining it, 1 billion, 2 billion, 3 billion, just for maintaining it for to next year. But that wait would be as the best thing they can wait for. It's the worth to wait, something that's worth to wait actually. In this 1 year, can handle the immigration situation, the COVID situation, and then as 6, 8, 9 months pass, in these 3 months will be more into Olympic and business and major so it will be like something 9 months will be for health, and then 3 months will be more business and Olympics and all of that. So that you would see that in this 1 year, so something like this, graduating from high school and directly going to university is something that's good, but also something that's bad, because it's true that you graduate faster, but at the same time it's bad because it's something you might not find the it's something that you will make or break. I would say you might regret choosing this major at the same time. But if you wait for 1 more year, wait 1 year, having a gap year, that's it. Having a gap year, having 1 year of break before going to university, finding what's your real passion. Just try this, try that, try computer, try maybe engineering, try photograph, try any arts maybe. And then once you try, and then you think that this is the things that I really like to do, and this is the passion that I really want to do, this is my passion, then you can go to university and be happy actually, compared to you are going to the directly to university choosing something that you want, and then suddenly you just say, oh no, I hate this major, and then you want to move, but at the same time it just become symbolic things, and this is what's happening in Olympic now, in the Tokyo Olympic. If you work 1 more year, have a gap year, having a break for 1 year, it will be a worth to wait for, especially everything. It will be something it's a path that I would say the best path for all. I mean, last year you would see that COVID cases are booming, and this year I would predict that if they do hold Olympic this year, by the end of the year, the COVID-19 situation will be, I would predict it would booms as crazy as possible because of the situation, especially. But if they do the bubble, it will not boom, but the economic and the business wise, it will, instead of boom, it will go to the ground, it will not work, it will just dies, and businesses will die, that's the thing, and we will waste more money than gain more money, that's the thing. For businesses especially, they have to subsidize the businesses to work especially, but they wouldn't really get that much money in this situation. Businesses will suffer, economics will suffer, and prices will go up high to the roof, and it will be a problem especially. But if they let they let people go watch Olympic this year, especially in this current situation, then COVID-19 will boom in Japan, and it will be the next India, I would say. But if they do postpone it to next year, you would see that and focus on health and making sure that there's no more cases of COVID, and making sure that people who are stuck outside of Japan are inside of Japan, so that they could do the full lockdown, so that they could not close the border, so that they could just not let our people in, so that isolation is the answer. Once they let all the suffered students, workers, spouse, people who wants to live there in, then and they close it, the impact of the economic, the impact next year in economic and businesses, it will booms, and it will explode, and it will rise to the roof, and Japan will be the center of the economy suddenly. That's the thing that Olympic will bring if you postpone to next year. And health, if you focus on health this year and immigration, you would see, and it will affect, it's that, I would say, how would I say, it's inversely proportional, I would say. If you stop people who wants to comes into Japan to, like, for work and for students like that to come into Japan, then business economies will suffer. And then if you just hold it this year, health system will might collapse, or it will suffer. Businesses will suffer, health system will suffer, people, Japanese people will suffer, and students, immigrants will suffer, and most people will suffer. But if you postpone it at least another year, then businesses will prosper, everything will prosper, everything will go along the way, and it will be positive, I would say. That's why I would really, 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 with bottom of my heart, with all my souls and all my, oh, not souls, but I would say with all my prediction, I would strongly recommend Japan as a major economic business and major place to live, to study, to work, to for economy to prosper and for business to prosper. One thing that they need to do is that to promote Olympic and to postpone it to next year and promote them. Same time you can promote them, you can stronghold this Olympic as one of the major things that can boost the economy in the businesses. That's the best way to combine everything and just make it into something that's the best of the best. You can see Olympics, there's a lot of negative thoughts now, but it can change within 1 year. It can become the best of the best. Right now, if they hold this year, it might become the worst of the worst. It's something that they will have to decide by, maybe I would say, I don't know when, but depend on the Japanese people. But it will really become the best of the best if they postpone it for 1 more year. I would strongly suggest, and I will strongly say, even though I might be wrong, but the best we want, what I want and what I think Japanese people want and what I think Japan want will be best of the best, and the best of the best for all of us will be postponing it to the Olympic to next year. And then once they have the 3 month, 9 month for health, for immigration, 3 months for business, major business, minor business, economies, and also the test run of the Olympic and the visitors, like that, to and everything has to be handled as well as possible, so that complaints will not be allowed after that. I mean, if you do it wholly this year, there will be a lot of complaints about, or nurses are, right now nurses are angry and people are angry, but hopefully it will get postponed. So I hope that you guys like these videos in my opinion, about Olympics especially, and hopefully you guys like and share this video and subscribe for more upcoming videos. So see you guys, let's see when, maybe next week.